Hello friends, how are you all doing? Since tax filing and tax declaration season is all around, you might have a lot of queries pertaining to your HRA in terms of what documentations to be done and under what conditions you can claim HRA within the organization. So we'll help you in terms of decoding the entire confusion or let's say any queries you have pertaining to HRA. Myself, Saurabh Jain, I'm an author, financial planner and a wealth coach and looking forward to address all your queries pertaining to the HRA. So first, when we talk about HRA, the basic question which comes to your mind is how the calculation is being done. Okay, so just let's understand the components which are involved in HRA calculation and what are the factors to be taken into consideration while you are calculating, or let's say once you look at your form 16, how it exactly gets populated. First component for HRA computation is basic salary. Second is HRA as mentioned in your salary slip. And third is whatever rent you are paying. You need to have all these three figures with you. Now, once you have these figures, step one, you need to calculate 50% of your basic salary if you are in a metro city or 40% if you are in non-metro. Currently, we are assuming that let's say we are staying in a metro city, and as per Income Tax Act, definition of metro is Calcutta, Delhi, Bombay, and Chennai. These are the four cities which are considered as metro. All other cities, you have to consider 40% while considering your overall HRA. Okay. So first step, 50% of my basic salary. So my basic salary is 5 lakh. If I take 50% of that, it comes to 2.5 lakh. What is the second criteria? Just write down HRA as per your salary slip. What all is the HRA in your CTC? Just write it down. And third step is rent paid minus 10% of basic salary. Assuming you are paying a rent of 20,000 per month, annual comes up to 2,40,000 minus 10% of basic salary, which is 5 lakhs. 10% of 5 lakh, which is 50,000. So if you remove 50,000, if you subtract from 2,40,000, it comes up to 1.90. So now what income tax says, you need to consider least of these three while considering your overall HRA exemption. So what is least of these three is 1,90,000. So you would find that when your final form 16 would come, your organization would take 1,90,000 as a part of your HRA component, which will get exempted from tax. Here, I hope this is clear to all of you. Now let's understand some queries pertaining to HRA. Okay. Normally people have certain queries that if I'm staying with my parents or my spouse and the house is owned by them, can I claim HRA? Yes, 100%. So if the house is owned by your parents, either your father or mother, or let's say solely by your spouse, you can claim HRA, you can pay rent to them. Okay. So what you need to do a proper documentation, just like you do if let's say they are a normal tenant. You need to furnish PAN card, you need to have a rent agreement, you need to pay rent, you need to furnish rent receipts, plus also transfer the money accordingly to their account. And please ensure that your parents, whomever you are transferring, they also show it as a rental income while filing the returns. So it's just like a normal process. Just consider as if they are your normal tenant and what all formalities you have to do. Just do that and furnish all those documents in the organization. So if you are doing it, 100%, you can claim HRA. There's no problem in that. Okay. Normally, people say that sometimes you are staying, let's say, in a house where maybe the owner is not sharing his PAN card. So how do you claim that? So up to 1 lakh rupees, if you are claiming HRA, you don't have to furnish any document. Okay, so up to 1 lakh, 8,300 roughly, we get that figure per month. If you are declaring it as an HRA, you don't have to furnish the document in the organization. But some organizations still, they have the internal policy that even if you show 8,300, you need to furnish the PAN card, rent agreement. So it is as per the internal requirement of the company. But even let's say you have not submitted it in the company, but once you're filing the return on your own, once you get your form 16, still that 1 lakh rupees you can claim accordingly. Okay. Above, what amount of TDS is applicable in case of HRA? So if you are paying a rent of more than 50,000 rupees, let's say to your landlord, in that case, you need to deduct TDS. It's compulsory to deduct TDS if your rent exceeds 50,000 rupees. okay, per month. You need to do that. Using, clause pertaining to HRA when it coincides with your interest payment for your housing loan. So many a times, let's say, when you have housing loan, we have a query that can be claimed both HRA and housing loan separately. Yes, you can do that. Income tax does not restrict you from claiming HRA and interest which you are paying on your housing loan, as these two are completely different clauses. Okay, but we sometimes have some queries pertaining to that. First, let it be very clear. Let's say, assuming you are staying in Pune in a rented house and you have taken a house in Bombay for which you have taken a loan. It's in a different city. Okay, in that case, there is no confusion. You can claim HRA as well as both interest exemption on housing loan. You can claim both. Confusion arises if you stay in the same city, you are staying in a rent and you own a house. That is where, company doesn't allows you to consider only one aspect. Either you can claim HRA or interest exemption on your housing loan. But income tax, clearly it does not restrict you in terms of claiming both HRA and housing loan. But what income tax says that you have to prove the genuinity, that why you are staying in a rented accommodation in spite of having the own house in the same city. So it's very difficult for the company, to take the genuinity reasons from each and every employee and have it. So that is why, most of the companies, they prefer, as per the internal policy, that if your house and if you're staying in the same city where you own a house, you can claim either of it. So once, it may not be considered in your, let's say, internally in your company, but once you file your return, once you get your Form 16 and you file your final income tax return, there you can claim HRA also if you have shown interest exemption on housing loan in your company. So please be very clear about it, and let's say if you get any query from Income Tax Act, you can just prove the genuinity. It could be whether your house is small, whatever you own, and in a rented house, you're staying in a bigger house, or your rented house is much closer to your kids' school, college, etc. So once you prove it, it's absolutely okay. Okay, so it doesn't restrict you from, let's say, claiming both, even though it's in the same city, you can do that. That's not a problem. So many a times we have this query. So even though it is not considered while you're furnishing your details in the company internal portal, but while claiming income tax, while filing your income tax return, you can claim exemption for both HRA as well as whatever interest you pay on your housing loan. You can claim exemption for both the purpose. Thank you. And I hope this answers to most of your queries pertaining to, let's say, HRA. And these are our coordinates. So in case you have any query, you can reach out to us. And if you want us to have more videos on different topics, we can just, record and we can share with all of you. Thank you.